Hi everybody, this is Module 1 for EDL 850 School Law, and I'm Tyler Danzel. A little bit about me. First of all, I have been in public education for 14 years. I've taught at several Wichita area high schools and schools, including Derby High School, Goddard High School, Norwich High School, and Dale High School, and then I've spent the last 2 years at Derby Middle School. I've taught high school business classes, and I currently teach a 7th grade computer course. I've also been a yearbook advisor for 6 years, and I've coached several things. I've coached football nearly every year that I've taught, same with basketball, and then I've also taught tennis for a couple of years. You could probably better describe my tennis coaching as tennis supervision rather than coaching, due to my limited knowledge of the sport. Personally, I was born in Dodge City, Kansas, and I lived my whole life up through high school in Jetmore, Kansas. I graduated from Jetmore High School in 1998. I attended college at K-State in Manhattan, lived there for 4 years, and since 2002, I've lived in Wichita, Kansas. I'm the oldest of 4 children. My mother was an educator. She taught elementary school for nearly 35 years. My father works in agriculture. He used to farm with his brother. Now he works for a company called Crop Production Services there in Jetmore. I've been married for 14 years to my wife, Sarah, and we have 2 adopted children, Will, who will be 5 on July 15th, and then our daughter, Nora, just turned 1. I work for Derby Public Schools, and they have an online Board of Education policy document that is available to everyone. And I scanned through it. What I did is I compared the chapters in our text to some of the topics that are found in our BOE policy. And nearly everything that is covered in those chapters in the text is also covered in the BOE policy document for Derby Public Schools. Some examples are student safety. The superintendent and staff shall develop necessary rules and regulations for student safety in school and at-school activities. Also, due process. When appropriate circumstances dictate, students will be afforded due process as required by current law. And then also in regards to disability harassment. The policy says it is unlawful discrimination on the basis of disability under Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 and the Americans with Disabilities Act. Another interesting topic related to school law that Derby has been in the news for over the past year, in May of 2016, the board adopted a policy where transgender students could use the bathroom of their choice. And in February of 2017, that policy was reversed. President Trump rescinded that order by President Obama, and then the Derby board also changed their ruling on that. At Derby Middle School, where I teach, our administration appears to do a very good job of adhering to school law and BOE policy. I obviously don't get into the specifics of that with them. There was one example this past year where I had a student in one of my classes who was an excellent student, but for whatever reason missed a lot of school. And then, towards the end of the semester, her father sent an email to me and our principal asking that she be excused a week early so they could travel to England for the summer. And some of her absences had not been documented correctly, and so at first our principal was not going to allow it because at that point she would be considered truant. And so I was included on the back and forth on some of those emails, but eventually it was resolved. My personal knowledge of school law, I would say general knowledge of school law. I have a very solid base of that. I also have a good knowledge of high-profile laws and cases that have come along. But when you really get into the specifics and the nuts and bolts of school law, I would say I'm very limited in that. My personal plan for improvement, number 1, read our text thoroughly. I think there's going to be a lot of good information in there. Obviously, complete all of the assignments and modules that are part of this class. I think the more thorough my research is, the better my knowledge will be. And of course, observe my classmates' work and comment on their assignments accordingly. And then finally, if I do have some opportunities to visit with my current administration, I think that would be a very, very good thing to do as well. Thank you for viewing my presentation, and I'm looking forward to this class.